Hey guys, and welcome. And the Seven Swords, and we are back in Factorio. It is quite a warm day today, so if I sound a little drained, that might be why. Um, what we are currently going to be working on today is um, we need to fix a couple of issues with the base's resource generation. The biggest one being the fact that over here we have the old setup still running, and it's giving us stone and coal on the coal belt. It's giving us copper and iron on the copper belt, copper and iron on the iron belt, and then finally um, stone and spoilage on the stone belt, along with having the setups of um, the crystals and such like that. Now, a couple of things we can do is we could remove these completely and just have the top pieces set up. Um, there's also a couple of other things we could set up. There's a few of these other bits and bobs that we could build. Um, one of the things I'm going to do though to get us started with this is I'm going to completely disassemble our void sheds. I will be reconstructing these after some time, but right now I'm deconstructing them so that we can have so that we can get that taken care of. We'll be redesigning quite a bit of the base soon. I'm not planning on redesigning them yet because I'd like to get to where we have the electromagnetic plants before we do the redesign, because we're going to need that. And also I'd like to get to, I would like to get a bit of other things designed up before we end up moving over to that. The other thing we'll be looking towards getting today, because it's going to be my next goal, is the mech suit, which requires electromagnetic science. So we're going to be doing a bunch of Fulgora stuff today. Um, we're going to be getting settled in with Fulgora. Getting these plates is going to be the first thing to do. These holmium plates. It will not be that difficult, but we're not going to be expanding the base anymore because we're going to be taking this entire place down once we get the advanced researches done anyways. Um, Stopping the sheds is one thing because I want to start getting it to where we can start pulling these resources a little bit more easily. Um, and that's the other reason why we need to start working on this, because I need to start making designs to figure out how to work these in the long run. And apparently this was set up to only have that on that, so that's a problem. We'll go ahead and fix that. We're also going to be designing a bit more of the base to have, basically, I set it up basically where there was a setting in the options, and basically what it lets me do is, if I put, like, let's say I put a stack of stone in here, we'll notice it puts it all into the void ocean and lets it be destroyed by the void. So we're going to be using that also in the next design of the base. We're going to try and obviously not use that, since that's just trashing the material. But if we don't need the material, I don't see a problem in just trashing it like that. I didn't realize. Oh, okay, so that makes sense. I need to redesign this because this needs to not be set up like this. What this should be is that I should say stone over to that, so that it doesn't go in, so that stone can't go into here, because stone should be going into this primarily. And turn that on to max so that we can get the inventory cleared out. But yes, once we get the mech suit, we'll be able to get around a lot easier. These are obviously, all of these electrical furnaces are going to be getting turned into forges, so that we can forge material a lot easier. Like I said, we're done expanding the science platforms because we're not going to be using science very much anymore. This just needs let's see. Let's look at the electromagnetic science real quick. for the mech suit. Okay, it does need utility science, so we're going to work on utility science, and then once we have the utility science expanded, then we won't be needing to expand anymore for the foreseeable future. And while we do that, it should work on getting us to our final pieces. So blue, low density, and that. Actually, that makes this slightly easier than what I was expecting. We are going to go, instead, we're going to go ahead and go down to the bot mall area. Well, not that bot mall. We're going to be going up to this bot mall, and we're going to be adding recyclers to the bot mall. Because if I build recyclers, there we go. Now we're getting our recyclers in. And then what I can do with the recyclers is we can build a system that will recycle them to give us the stuff we need for that. Which, didn't we get? No, we did not get level 3 quality assurance modules. We will be working on that maybe at some point. Just moving some of my stuff around so I can see my bits a bit better. Check this here. If I move this to here. That. My apologies for the slight delay. I'm trying to get to where I can see my setup a bit better. Where is... There it is. Move that down to there for now. This there. That down slightly. There. That. Finally put this up here, and then that there. There we go. Now I should be able to see Chad and a lot of my other controls that I like being able to see. But, I thought we had quality. Oh no, quality assurance comes from Fulgora's research, so no, we do not. We did just get the meteor reprocessing ability, so we'll be able to be using that eventually. We have the turbo belt setups, which we'll be also setting up hopefully within the next little bit, because turbo belts will help with the process quite a lot. But right now I would like to get working on well, actually what I'm going to start working on is right about here, because we might need plastics further down, we might not. But what I will be doing is build these here like so. This was the plan I was going to have for Fulgora, but since we don't have to go to Fulgora anymore for this tech, we'll be able to start working on this a little bit sooner. And then we do one there, and then it's this, this, this. I cannot claim the rights to having designed this. I did not build this. This was something I saw other people doing. For the design on how to process scrap into its different components. Place that there. Place this here. Place this here. And place this one here. And then what I would like to do is scrap. So scrap, ice, holmium, and void shards. So what I could do if I want to do that, cut this, put it back. What we'll do is we'll do scrap to the left. Then we can put scrap like this. Then as far as the holmium ore, ice, and void shards, they can go straight into the system. Now, normally I could set this up with the more precise settings, but I'd like to set this up as easily as possible so that it doesn't have to be processed as much. It wants 50 per. Well, what I can do then is I can do this, this, and set you up to say, create the fluid. Then we do this, this, and then we'll use big electrical poles. Run the power up to our production system. And now it's being worked. Now for here, I'd like to say this will only do holmium ore. And get the holmium ore out of that process. Say, why is it still giving me stuff? Now for this one, this needs to be prioritized to the right. We'll do, where is my concrete? Put a supply box here with an inserter. And then finally, we do a deconstruction blueprint to the right. And then this one needs to go to the right, not the left. Then what I can do is I can copy this. Set that down. But what I want to do is I want to go in and get, where is it? This setup. Change this to a parameter. And save. And then what I can do is I do this. It wants me to know what parameter I want to set, and I want to say iron, copper, steel, fuel, copper wire, green circuits, red circuits, blue circuits, batteries, and then give me a second. Now what we'll do is we will go ahead and set this up. Oh, no, why I was doing that. Yep. Supply chest, all the holmium ore. So one of the things we're getting a lot of is ice and void shards. So let's go ahead and set up that ice and void shards. Alright, the next one's going to be gears. We also have stone and LDS. So we'll do LDS first. Then we'll do stone. next thing we need to do, because we need to do this before we get too far, is I need to connect this system to the bot network. Turn that to high speed. Because now we get batteries and we get blue circuits a lot more easily, red circuits a lot more easily. There's just a lot of stuff you get more easily if you set it up to be like this. I don't know if we're pulling everything that you get from scrap yet. We might be, because we're getting a lot of, because nothing else it's not backing up on the system, which I'd expected at least some stuff to back up if we weren't getting everything. But what we'll do is that the system will then go around again, come back, and then feed right back into the system after going through another set of recyclers. The only things we won't be recycling are steel and concrete. We'll be turning steel into steel boxes and concrete into hazard concrete, and then those two will be getting recycled so that they're just destroyed. Or they'll be getting tossed into the void ocean, which we might set up eventually as well. Because you don't want to have those two being recycled, because they have really long crafting times, so they take forever to be recycled, and you're not going to get anything out of them, because steel just recycles into steel and concrete just that recycles into concrete. But we will be setting those up here eventually. I'm just waiting to see if this backs up at all, which it doesn't seem like it's going to, which is good, because now we have all these resources ready to be requested for our next project, which of course is getting the yellow science up and running, so that we have yellow science, so that we can get through as much of the research as possible in order to get as far as we can. And I forgot to bring back my recipes. This is a 3-to-1, so we're going to go ahead and set this one up to be our 3-to-1 recipe again. Put up as parameter. And we can name it 3 into 1. Save that blueprint. And then we can move this and put it here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then what this one will be making is our utility science. We're also going to set this up. Grab us a few of these. Why is it not building this? I have the recipes. I have the stuff for building it. Oh, they're coming from the base to build it. So it needs blue circuits, LDS, and it needs flying robot frames. So we can do blue circuits and LDS by request, because the systems are making those enough for that. Go ahead and bring this down so we can move that up to the belt to send it to the labs. And then that will be where the flying robot frames come in at. And then as far as these go, we can put blue circuits, and I'm going to say 600. Finally, where is LDS? This won't be very fast, but it will work for now, and we can at least get it to where we can get the researches that we need in order to start getting everything set up. The bots will eventually bring it over. set this up. And that's 2 of the 3 that needed for that. Next thing is to do the robo frames, which I'm pretty sure flying robo frames is a 4 recipe. Yeah, it's a 4-to-1 recipe, which is steel, green circuits, electric engines, and batteries. All of which we currently do not have being made, right? Well, we have some of that being made. We don't have much of it, though. So, what we will do... 1, 2, 3, and 4. Going to tell it to make us flying robot frames, which are steel, green circuits, electro engines, and batteries. Batteries we're going to get from the recycling system, so we're going to be requesting those in, and then steel we can get from the main line. Luckily, this main line's not going to be going much farther. What we will do is, this needs to be brought back to where it's going to there. This one can go down. And what I want to do is, so there, bring this across like so. Then there, so, and then bring this one up. And what we'll do is we'll just tell it, go into it like that. So, and what this will do is it will say batteries. And we're going to raise that up a bunch so that they're bringing over lots of batteries and not just a small handful of them. And then this one can go down to the steel lane. Our first goal after we do this will be to set up for the individual items, such as the forges and the electromagnetic plants and such. After we get those set up, we'll want to start bringing in... okay. It's kind of confused there. Now, I could technically build another green circuit setup, but again, I'm just trying to get this running for now. So we're just going to request green circuits from the network. And again, raise that request to 14,100 so that it's asking the bots to bring quite a lot. The bots are starting to run into power problems because they get about here and they don't have enough electricity to keep going. So we're probably going to want to build some roboports randomly throughout the place eventually, or we're going to really want to move away from this, which is probably going to be the one we're going to do. Okay, we need more of these. Oops. Double-clicking, bit of a mistake. Remove that one. Remove that one. And remove that one. There we go. Now we'll start getting a lot more of these running in. Now, you could put quality into this and then have you get higher quality items out of here, but the problem is that then I have to increase this by the number of qualities that we have. Well, I mean, yeah, I could do that. I could set up a system to just pull in the green circuits over here. I'm I have to deal with I have to deal with the byproducts or stuff, or I have to make a little hole, throw the byproducts into the ocean, and they don't create a lot. We're going to be doing that. We will be using that feature of the mod more. I've actually found that having the byproducts is not a problem in this. There's actually a lot of ways around those byproducts, and having those byproducts can actually be very useful. I have a whole idea for a trash system eventually, but we need to get the sciences researched before we can start getting into that. What I wish is the bots were faster. I'm used to playing with the cheat on that makes bots go like super fast, so. And then this one we're gonna just set up for the same thing of requesting. Where is there it is. I know I'm making these somewhere on the farm, I was about to call it a farm. I guess we are farming. Farming the power of the void. And there we go for our Trobagnetic, or our flying robot frames. And now to add in our quality modules, so we can start getting some quality utility science. Make our utility science that much more useful. And we've now finished our research into the level 3 speed modules, which we will be making a process. The first thing we're going to be doing to build the actual, what will be the next version of our base, will be building modules as well. We'll be making every single type of module there is in the game, and we'll be prioritizing making those and keeping those running. This needs to be set to utility science, which I don't think we were making utility science anywhere, so I think we're fine with that. Have quality productivity modules? We do. We have them in some of the science labs already. One thing that people might be saying I probably need to start working towards getting is the bio labs, so that I can start getting the increased productivity of the bio labs, which we might start actually working towards that. It wants me to craft the iron bacteria. We also need to be looking into that to see if iron bacteria is better for iron production. I forgot you could make turbo stuff from the void. You could always set these up and have these running in the background. Do that. We'll start setting these up and just getting some turbo stuff in the background. We're going turbo. Oh no, wait, wasn't it Turbo-tastic from Wreck-It Ralph? And then we're just going to set them up as the basic production. Now, how are we doing for power? Our production is getting kind of up there. One thing we might be doing eventually, I'm actually can almost guarantee that we're going to do it at some point. Oh, wow. Didn't realize we were going to start running into an iron problem. Or not an iron problem, a copper problem. Goes to show that we're going to need a lot more a lot more throughput than what I planned for. But then again, we're using like only like part of our electric furnaces because our electric furnaces aren't running as much. Maybe set up forges for copper at some point. Maybe. Well, then again, we also only have one throughput of material. We're going to be upping this quite a lot in the future. I've realized that only having one row of these was a bad idea. We need a lot more of that. But we'll be looking at that later. Copper is still coming through relatively quickly. The things that are consuming the most of our copper is our green circuit setups, as they just continue to gobble down the copper as it comes in. Which actually means that we could probably get through with using the forge to set up, use the forge's productivity for making copper. And not to mention the fact that once we get Fulgoran science set up, we can use Fulgoran science to make the process. Okay, so ice has now become far too cumbersome. So I'm going to show my next idea for this. We're going to flip it to the other side. We're going to tell it to do ice, but we're not going to be putting ice into a box. Instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to run it down this way. Grab a bit of this. Grab a bit of this. And now all the excess ice is going to be thrown away, because ice is not one of the ones that we gain any excess of. Well, we don't gain anything by deconstructing it. And computer age level 3. Produce 5,000 processing units per hour. So, we are producing quite a lot, coming from all the different ways we're producing it. From crafting it, to recycling it, to a whole bunch of other options. We'll probably up this in the future and making this process a lot better, because I think it is easier to get to, like, for example, blue circuits, red circuits, batteries, low density structures, if you recycle down instead of craft up. One reason why I do like having that ability to do that. And we're going to go ahead and tell it to bring us some landfill so I can re-landfill these areas that I decide not to use that process. There we go. We already filled up an entire belt of yellow science. We have. Very nice. Oh. We're noticing how we're burning through copper a lot faster now. This is what we're seeing our system under stress. Which, I'm under the impression that this is a situation of, yes, we do not have enough of this, of us making flux fluid. That's our issue. That is because, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we took apart the flux fluid process up here. That was making our excess flux fluid when we weren't getting a lot of items in. what we will do is we will re-put that in. Put up an overflow valve. And then run this up here like this. Which, why did I do it like that? You. And place you like that. And substation. Now we should be getting a lot more flux fluid, and it should be making, we should be starting to make Coriolis fluid a little bit better. Keyword on a little bit there. There's the flux fluid going up. Means now, this is literally just running low on throughput. Do you have any of the speed modules in the system? Does not look like it. I'm guessing that the only speed modules we really have are the ones being used to create them. Create the void crafters. Yes. We are making level 2s, but we are not making level 3s yet, because we haven't quite researched level 3s. Probably should do that. Voidification and high entropy? No, thank you. Void speed modules. Okay, so it produces void. It produces the modules themselves. Do we get like a level 2 version of this, or is this just a? Looks like we just get the level 1s. I can see an argument if they could produce the level 3s. Now, I could set up splitters to bring copper from these belts down to these belts, but they're all coming from the same source, so I would just be draining out the copper a lot faster, which is problematic. Again, we need to more of look into fixing that by its process, not just adding on to it. Oh, beacons. That's what's blinking up here and being annoyed by me. I will be taking those out because we will not be keeping that. Alright, let's see. Green circuits and looks like green circuits and electric units are being the problem, which makes sense. Oh, this stopped again. Iron gears this time. Alright, so this time, instead of extending the system around in a particular way, we'll be bringing it back this way. And the first thing we want to do is right here. Put those 5 there. These 5 there. Go that way. But before we continue, I need to start this. And the first thing we need to do is this. I would like to offshoot steel. And I would like to offshoot concrete. Would like to offshoot ice. Now the reason I'm offshooting these 3 is because they do not produce anything. They literally will just be recycled down into nothing. So there's no reason to have them set up this way, which actually would be better to do it like this. Finally, these, and then now, actually set up the other recycling system. And now the system will recycle that. We prioritize the rights so that it's taking in what we are recycling before we take in more stuff. And thus, the system now will make even more products because as it fills up, it will make it'll process it. Now, once every time the holmium fills up, it will stop the process. That is fine by me because I want holmium to be our control there, because holmium is something we need, that we need for making our process, making most of the electronic stuff from Volgora. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a system to start making that, which we need. Comes from holmium fluid, but what's holmium solution made in again? It's a chemical plant. I am a fool. So, chemical plant. Chemical plant. This will melt down ice. This will make holmium solution. Now, a requester chest here, here, and this goes into here, into a supply chest. Actually, let's do it like this instead. That one. Or at least, I want that one, but I want it to be there instead. Holmium plates. So we're getting the bonus byproduct from it being made in a foundry. Melt down ice. Oops. There we go. And let's see if that works. There's it melting down the ice, which it produces 20 water per second. This needs 1 water per second, which will produce plenty of holmium plates. We now have our holmium plates. The next thing we needed to work on from holmium plates in order to get it into our electromagnetic stuff. Where was it? Oh, here it is. It wants us to make our sciences next, which is it wants us to make supercapacitors. But we can now make all of those, plus we can make electromagnetic plants. So the next thing to do would be to make our first electromagnetic plant. Which I will make in one of my normal crafters first, because then we will make all of our electromagnetic plants in electromagnetic plants. Electromagnetic plant. Turn that requester on. We are not making reinforced concrete anywhere. So what we will do is we will make reinforced concrete. Reinforced concrete? My brain is not functioning. My brain has decided to be a pain. But to make reinforced concrete, we need to make it out of concrete, iron sticks, concrete, steel, and water. I think I said concrete there too many times, but whatever. which again, we can just use ice. Putting in another robot plant. Goes all that. Goes all that, and now we have our electromagnetic science thingy. Which we will now take that one, and when we pick it up, the system will automatically say, you don't have that set up, so I'm going to take that and put that away. I'm going to realize I wish I would have put it in my system. I tell them to bring it back. And then now, we can tell it, I want you to make these. And much like the Foundry before, it does a productivity module. It does productivity to where we will get extras from doing it. So, very useful for us. Now this wants 80 per second, and this is producing 10 a second, so it is nowhere near fast enough. I'm going to raise its productivity and also raise this one's productivity so that it gets even more holmium per craft. But now we have our electromagnetic plants, which means we can actually go take apart our modules in a little bit, and have modules being made in these electromagnetic plants because we also will get production for them. Hello, Huff. Actually, in the last one, we changed the settings of the game. We're using the void block settings to where we don't have to travel to Fulgora or any of the other planets. We're still on Navis. We don't have to travel to any of the planets anymore to craft the individual planets' sciences and components. So we won't have to leave the base, we won't have to restart from the very beginning again, because I felt like that was very slow, and S6X informed me of the setting to change how it works. So we now have that ability instead, so we don't have to travel to Fulgora this time. I'm starting to wonder if maybe we're gonna have too much holmium ore, or if maybe what I should do is run the holmium ore over here by belt. We definitely have a lot of holmium ore. There we go. Now holmium ore will be taken care of directly instead of us having to worry about it. I probably should also pull stone directly so that stone's getting over there faster. Cookie that you earned? The internet cookie? I say that a lot. Which question did you get right that you got an internet cookie? If ever I get good enough at making videos, I might actually one day set up some kind of like reward system of internet cookies for people who watch my streams. If I can ever figure out how to set that up or figure out what to do for it. The advice on how to stop space. Oh, right. Yeah, that wasn't a question I asked. That was advice you had given me, and I said I remember that now. And I said you entered an internet cookie. There we go. Now we're making holmium solution fast enough that the plates will keep up. Well, or at least the plates will do better. Keeping up is not something that I think it will do right now. Could always make speed modules, since now we can make speed module 3s. that would probably work better with this. That, or I could always change the system. Again, all of this will be changed out eventually for better stuff. But yeah, this is what Fulgora would have ended up looking like eventually, where we were pulling scrap from these, sending it down the line to here. What we could do, since we did end up going to Vulcanus, is we could take apart, we could remotely take apart Vulcanus and have have the reactor sent back, so we'd at least have the components to build another reactor here. Although the next reactor I build, I'm probably going to build a new design, which uses the fact that the water system, that the fluid system has changed so drastically. I'm actually kind of surprised this place is still running. I should actually have a ship that goes back and forth between Navis and Fulgora and picks up the Fulgoran sciences. Not Fulgoran. I've been calling this Fulgoran, it's Vulcanus. Right. Now I remember. It was to set up the passenger present, passenger not present, at the same time in order to keep the platform from flying back and forth constantly. Now it all comes. Now it's all coming back to me. Plans coming together. I put a warehouse here. I think I can fit a full warehouse there. I think I would have to put a... actually I can. It's actually just big enough. I probably don't need this much Homeo more. There's probably never going to be a need for that much Homeo more. It's probably just going to be a problem in my future for dealing with way too much Homeo more. Whatever. Yeah, I feel like we need to do speed modules and get some speed modules into that. I knew I'd remember it eventually. I may not have the greatest of memories, but my memory does kick in every once in a while. How's our turbo build setup going? Is it noticeable that I have ADHD? That I'll say I'm working on one thing and then I'll suddenly run off to check something else? Oh yeah. It's definitely helping us with our future turbo belt upgrades. Hey Wolf. But the next thing we're going to work on is electromagnetic plants. I mean, I think they're called super electromagnetics or something like that. Wait. You can make these in foundries and electromagnetic plants? What? That's broken. I feel like you should have kept it with just electromagnetic plants or just foundries. Oh, it'll become spaghetti. There is spaghetti. There is spaghetti around this base somewhere. I think there is, at least. No, it's pretty much direct. I think the only thing that is spaghetti is pipes, but that's because pipes have to be spaghetti. Most of the items is staying pretty clean and straightforward. At least I think. I don't know. I have a hard time recognizing spaghetti. I live spaghetti, so I sometimes struggle to recognize spaghetti. And then when I start trying to recognize spaghetti, I start calling things that aren't spaghetti. We should take these apart and redesign them. Now that we have the electromagnetic plants. That's going to be what we're going to do. That can stay the way it is. That's fine. But my power system is definitely spaghetti. My power system's kind of spaghetti because I've got power poles all over the place because I just throw one down every time I need it. Doesn't look like it, really? Huh. I think Wolf's trying to say our base doesn't have enough spaghetti and we need to start adding some more spaghetti. I think he misses the spaghetti. Get me out of here. I really need to fix this bot network so these bots aren't running into dead zones. Alright. We will build our new modular setup over here. We will see how long I can avoid the spaghetti. But what is Factorio without spaghetti? I feel like Factorio without spaghetti is like the void without nothing. Yeah, that'll work. I could have had these in the original blueprint and then I wouldn't have had to worry about it, but still hiding in that box means you obviously understand the fact that when I play Factorio, spaghetti is usually a requirement. I'm gonna get him a wolf tree. Maybe he'll come out of the box if we get him a wolf tree. Level 2s, and then finally level 3s. Then level 1s, level 2s, and then we don't have level 3s for that yet. 2s, 1s. So we do this. Not you. That. And then what we do is we go across like this. Needle. I really need to get a blueprint for this setup and then have it be set up so that I don't have to worry about doing this once I have it set up. Because a lot of this could be set up through blueprint. Alright, this one, we're going to tell it if we have less than 20 level 1s it can create. This one will say less than 20 level 2s. This one will be level 1s, 20 level 2s, 20 level 3s. And he's back in the box. Are you just deciding that you're gonna just play peekaboo the entire stream, or as long as you're here? then what we need to do... Oh wait, no. Not these. Craft level 3 speed module. Finally! Now, technically we're going to have to redesign this again to do all of the different qualities of them once we get to quality making. For now... my hotbar is a mess. Yeah, he is tasty. Which I think might be the issue. I think he doesn't like spaghetti, my base having spaghetti in it, because he's afraid that if my base has spaghetti in it, that he'll try to eat my base. So he hides in the box to avoid eating my base. Is quality mandatory in this pack? No. You can play without quality. Well, I mean, I think it's a situation of you have to have it installed, but I don't think you have to have it. Now, Void Block does have a setup to where you can do it before you go to Space Age. If you don't have Space Age installed, you can play it without Space Age. But quality just comes straight with Space Age, so if you have Space Age, you're going to have quality. But you don't have to use quality. I just like using quality because I don't plan on just stopping at the edge of the universe. We're going to Mega Base. Well, I recently found out that I've been considering what a Mega Base is wrong. We aren't going to Mega Base, we're going to a big base. I always thought Mega Basing was just making a big base. Turns out it actually is determined by the amount of science you produce. And I'm not smart enough to figure out how much science I'm producing per second. Or per minute, or whatever it is. The only way I could be able to do that is if I went into my system and was like, okay, so what is my current rate of production? And let's look at... We're actually not producing any science I don't think we're actually producing science because science isn't being made at the current second. Stack inserters. Something running a problem? Oh, nope, it was just taking time to get started. Oh yeah, I just remembered one of the things we were thinking about. The science production graph is only available through the research screen. This one? Yeah, you can see it by hovering your mouse over the current research. Really? I don't think my brain is braining. Oh, you mean here? Oh, okay. So progression is that remaining time estimated. We're currently at science per minute is 57. That's actually a lot better than I was expecting. That's a lot better than I was expecting, especially with some of the stuff that I've set up here, with it being that it's just using requester chests, instead of me actually building a system. I mean, quite literally, our production modules are coming from just me throwing down some requester chests. Well, I mean, we have all the belts. We have all the belts saved up because all the belts of what they are going towards is saved up. And then there's also science inside of the things, and not to mention I'm using productivity modules in the science jargons. But I just remembered what I was thinking about working on. We could work on getting agricultural for gleba and start doing gleba research. You have the brain right now, Wolf? Yeah, if you guys didn't know, me and Wolf share a brain. And right now, apparently he has it and he's holding on to it for me. Mostly so I don't lose it or spaghetti it. Well, yeah, and bigger number will always be cooler. It's the law of bigger numbers. Okay, so we are still making no. This is making the Vulcanist science. I'm trying to remember if we have anywhere that's being used to make to actively build more forges, because I don't think we are, because I feel like we'd have more forges if we were making forges here on Navis, which means it's time to set up a forge for creation here on Navis, because I'm down to the 7 forges in my inventory and I don't want to run out. So for forges, it needs lubricant, refined concrete, tungsten carbide, electric circuits, and steel. How are we going to get lubricant? I mean, there's no way that lubricant can be made easily, correct? It's a process in and of itself. There's no way to get it easily. That'd be crazy. Okay, sure. I guess you got a point there. The rule of cool does not always apply to bigger brain or bigger number. You have the you have the brain the majority of the time. That explains why it doesn't work very well. And we now have everything except for reinforced concrete, because I just remember we're not making reinforced concrete anywhere. Because every time I need reinforced concrete, instead of setting up reinforced concrete, I just decide to throw down another, not that one. I just decide to set down reinforced concrete and then auto feed it instead of putting it instead of offering it to the logistics system. Treat this logistics system as it's a god here. Everything is offered to the logistics system eventually. The logistics system requires all. Okay. So to get the bacteria, we're gonna go through the extremely long process to get iron bacteria in order to get started on the gleba research. Wait a minute. Okay, no, it's here. I was about to say, is there actually a long process to it, or I was trying to just be facetious. Whatever that word is whenever you're trying to just make a joke about something. Jelly nut, Yokomo. Go to these. You make jelly nut. And you make Yokomo. Which will eventually rot in my storage system, but that's fine. Wants a heating tower next. Where are the heating towers? Is that in logistics? Oh no, it wants me to craft the copper bacteria. I'm sitting here like, why can I not find it? Because I haven't unlocked it yet. There's our heating towers. Something we will not be needing very much until we get to... Actually, no, we won't be needing it on Aquilo, because we're not going to Aquilo. Alright, next it wants us to craft nutrients. Place it down. Oh, fascisis. I'll admit, I was looking at that word for a while, trying to figure out if you were trying to talk about it like Factorissimo or Factorio 3 or some kind of Factorio thought process, and I could not figure it out for the life of me. I was literally just lost in absolute sauce. No, but in my head I didn't. In my head I had to state it several times. Burnt spoilage? I didn't even know you could burn spoilage. Huh. Interesting. Pentapod eggs. Reactor with 10 forges, making void fuel for it and themselves, totally self-contained, 40 megawatt. Huh. We might use it eventually if we need more power and I don't want to set up a nuclear reactor setup. Who knows? Always a possibility. Next we need to do this one, and I need to build a biochamber. Biochamber should be simple. Oh no. It needs a pentapod egg. Anybody else nervous about pentapod eggs? I feel like it's a threat. Now, I have an idea eventually of building Leva Island, basically putting it as an island to where the pentapods can't get to the rest of my base. Or binders. Or anything else that exists on this planet that's going to try and kill me. Makes you think you gotta deep clean the brain. Is it because my brain was having trouble determining the name of the facetious? In my defense, that's a difficult word to know. Grab that. And then... we have pentapod eggs yet? No. I am confused. Make a biolab, which means I need a pentapod egg. Oh, did I not do the pentapod egg research? Ah. I forgot that was a research. Yes, a glove land. Eventually we will set up Glebland, where all the little pentapods live their lives happily, away from me. I wonder if there's any mechanics of biters and pentapods. Like, do biters and pentapods get along, or will they attack each other? I know that somebody's got to have tested this. Like, put biters on pentapods, or pentapods on biters, or just have the two exist in their base for some reason. It'd be kind of cool if they attacked each other, because then you could have them, like, fight each other. Have your setups built around the idea of defending themselves. They get along fine. Okay, so apparently they're fine with each other. They just don't like us. Actually, no, they don't. I don't think it's that they hate the player. I think they hate pollution, and they realize the player produces pollution. Here's our plan. Here's our fun with spoilage. Reason why why most of my systems won't work with Glebascience. You think you dropped it on the floor. This is why you're not supposed to. This is why I don't trust you having it very often. Okay, stop. Is this where anybody gets nervous about the fact that I just created like a bunch of pentapod eggs and I'm not even considering the fact that they're all currently sitting somewhere in my base? Alright, let's do this. So that we can deal with this problem quickly. Pentapod eggs. Pentapod eggs. Spider eggs. Spider eggs. Ah! Respawn. Oh no. No, 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 no. I think I broke something. And I think they're breaking something. No! No! You painful creatures. Stop it! Leave my stuff alone. Oh no. Where are they? Luckily my bots are running around trying to repair the damage, but I don't know how many of those repair packs we have, and I don't know how long it's going to last. Oh no. Personal logistic system. Oh no. I don't have any ammo. And I can't turn on speed. Better than me forgetting it somewhere? I don't know. I think it would have been better if I had thought of this about 30 seconds ago. Oh, I forgot my corpse. I forgot about that. I don't die. I rarely die in Factorio. The last of them. Is there any more? I think that's all of them. I think we've dealt with the pentapod infestation. Why did you time warp while manually working with perishables? Something. Not the most intelligent person in the world. Something. Or my more fun thing to say whenever I'm dealt with a question I don't want to deal with. Something. Slowest in cities killer. In my defense, I don't have a good defense. Now everybody in the comments start wondering if I'm going to be smart and build up a military area to keep pentapods in, and instead of just continuing on, or if I'm just going to continue pushing forward and not do anything smart about this. Is this global science? Ooh. Oh, there's the capture thingies. Is there a way to get biter nest through void science? Like, is there like a void? Is there like a void machine I can place down that'll spawn biter nests? why not just... I have laser turrets in my bot ball. I'm pretty sure we're making laser turrets somewhere. Yeah, right here. We're actually literally making them right next to where I was panicking. Oh, and look, we have like 4 laser turrets of rare quality that I could have picked out of this chest if I hadn't been panicking. See, now you're thinking with logic, and that's not allowed here. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop, or I'm gonna have to take back your what do you call it? Your internet cookie that you earned. I'm gonna have to take that back. You're gonna have to return it. Um, something, something, something. Thanks for your business. This is probably a terrible layout. This would have been a better idea. We're just building a pentapod and biter preservation reserve. It's gonna be a nice, safe place for the pentapods and the biters to play games, exist together, and die horribly to lasers. Just forget that last part. Reminds me of the Factorio song that's based on the idea of, I think it's like the crash site hustle, and it talks about the genocide caused by the engineer coming to Factorio. That's funny. Nope. If it's already gone that far, I don't want it back. No, thank you. No, don't take my walls away. Bad logistics network. And then we'll put a bot network over here as well. More bots. Full speed. I don't think we have walls going into the network. I think we have walls being made. I think they're being made for the science, for the military science, but I don't think we have walls going into the network. I haven't built our wastewater area yet. Oh wait, no, wait, that's in Factorio. That's in Factoria? I'm trying to remember the one that was original. Bob's and Angels. That's what it is. Why was I thinking it was a Factorio name? Let's see, where's the military science? There's the military science. There's walls. 1, 2, and 3. Light chest. There we go. Now it will bring me walls. I'm also going to do something else that's smart. Ah, I just realized we had the pistol on. Stop being a pain. We don't need yellow science. I mean, we don't need yellow ammo. only red ammo. I just realized we were using our pistols to fight the pentapod. The pentapod invasion would have been so much easier if I had realized that. Factorio, that's what I was thinking of, but that's not what I was actually. That's not actually what I was referencing. Yes, good old C-Block. That's one reason why I liked Void Block. When I first saw Void Block, I loved the idea of it because it was such an easier to set up C-Block. Literally only needs the Voidcraft mod, and you can instantly start playing. Unlike the other one, unlike the C-Block, which took a lot more. There we go. Now all the dangerous critters that exist on this planet are trapped. Oh wait, I'm the only thing trapped in here. No, Sideways Gates is cursed. I think that'll work. I think that'll keep all of the pentapods and biters contained. They won't find that one hole in the wall that will definitely lead them into the freedom of the outside world. And now, for the chest that will save us all. Eggs. Maximum. Eggs. Maximum. Eggs. Maximum. Eggs. Maximum. And now what I would do is I would set up a system that basically reads my entire logistics network and says if there's a pentapod egg anywhere in the system or a biter egg anywhere in the system, it sets off an alarm. I know it's possible. I have no idea how to do it. We're not gonna do it. Can you burn pentapod eggs? I think you can. We're going to assume that you can, and I'm going to put a heating tower down next to this and try to burn them away instead of letting them hatch into problems I eventually will have to deal with. Oh, then. You can recycle them for sure. That will work. Does a recycled pentapod egg turn into happiness? Might not turn into happiness, but it'll at least turn into not making me sad because it decided to eat through half my base. Good for electromagnetic plants. How's our forge is doing? Yeah, not bad. We still need to get the biolab set up eventually. Which is probably going to end up being over here. Probably end up making a small little island down here to deal with them on. What we'll do this. I don't have like a fill command. I could always increase the size at which my fill rate's going, or increase the amount of landfill that I have being requested from the system. Or I could come over here and grab any of this landfill. And my logistics network said, "Hey, you've got that stuff in your inventory, and you don't want that much, so we're gonna take it out for you." so there and there. There and there. What we'll do is we'll do this. Now, if anything spawns on this island, it hopefully will not get off this island. Actually, what we can do to improve that likelihood. Not you. There we go. The off-center door is wanting you to hide in a box? Are you talking about this one? I can make it a lot better for you. So we don't have off-center door. There. Now the entire side is door. I'm gonna get mad about the off-center bridge, though. There's nothing I'm gonna do about that, because I'd have to sit here and literally try to figure out where the center is, and the only way I will do that is if I literally go one side there, one side there. Leadful does not go nearly as far as I would think it does. Alright, so creation question here now. What we want to set up. Where's our biolabs? Oh, they got thrown back in the logistics network. Noted. Right. Very long process. Interesting. May need to look into that more later. There's our biolabs. Okay, so biolab wants to make biolab, which it needs iron plates, electromagnetics, nutrients, pentapodic, and landfill. It becomes, are we going to do this the smart way or the easy way? I'd rather do it the easy way, because then I don't have to work as hard. Because an option that we could do... I think biochambers will work for this. But spoilage into nutrients. Request. Spoilage. I need to jumpstart the system. Trits. Yeah. Something, 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 poor design. What do I need to make that artificial swell? Because I'm seeing something on here and I want to know if I'm right. So, Yumiko seeds, nutrients, and something else along those lines. Okay. Give me... a fruit. Biolab. What do I need to do to get Yumiko seeds? Turn it into Yumiko mush. Go ahead. Yumiko mush can be made into nutrients as well. So Yumiko mush into nutrients. And then place you down. Oh, oops. Give me spoilage. I should not be on time speed if I'm trying to use Yumiko, if I'm trying to use nutrients. This. There. There. Go there. Where is nutrients? There we go. Oh, it doesn't include nutrients? What? Chest. There we go. Is it sad I just sat here and thought maybe I could make a fish farm and then realized there's no fish? I might be able to do that eventually. Definitely not a right now thing. Crash unrequested. Crash unrequested. Unrequested. Crash unrequested. Fly chest. And now, invite our little friends over. We gotta be careful though with this, because it will make pentapod eggs, but there's a 4.5% chance of a dangerous pentapod egg, which is basically a pentapod egg that that if created will basically make it to where it'll basically say it'll basically transform into a pentapod really quickly. Greater than 1, do nothing. Read contents, include crafting, fuel. pentapod eggs. Now hopefully this will start working towards our goal of making biolabs. Yeah, it's working. A somewhat foolproof system to create biolabs. Somewhat. There's a few quality of life failures going on here. For one, I'm filling my system up with spoilage. Can you tell the difference between a normal and a dangerous one using filters? I think so. Since the dangerous one is considered a different item. As we can see in here, it comes out as a slightly brownish pentapod egg that is quoted dangerous and has a spoil time of a single second, instead of our original pentapod eggs, which have a spoil time of 15 minutes. So what I plan on doing to deal with this is I will go ahead and set up this, which will throw everything that is not a pentapod egg into the voided sea. Which apparently pentapods cannot swim. At least not in void water. And there's our biochambers. So I think we have recyclers set up, we have biochambers set up, we have foundry set up, and we have electromagnetic plants set up. Tree seeding. The only issue with tree seeding is that we actually cannot grow trees on landfill. Light chest. But that is also why we are trying to get through this in order to research something. There is something I want to check. I need 2 Yumiko seeds, 50 nutrients, and some landfill. Now, one thing I need to do is I need to set up a request platform, a requester chest here, that have this request spoilage. I need to start avoiding out all the spoilage. Because I am getting a lot of spoilage in the system from this system. Well, actually, we actually don't need to do that because all the spoilage is going to get requested to here and then turned into nutrients, so shouldn't need to worry about that too much. Now, I did just realize we have another problem. Because if this has, because once this gets full, this will keep putting a pentapod egg in, but it won't craft because we won't have enough to put the pentapod egg in here. Biochamber in here, so we'll end up having pentapod egg excess. We'll have to be figuring a way to design that to fix that later. Right now I can just sit here and let the biochambers build up, and then we'll have enough biochambers to build our actual system, which is what our goal is today, is to get to enough stuff to build the actual base the next time we play. Which will most likely be next week. That's enough for that. Alright, so back to our next system. we wanted to build our electromagnetic setup in order to run that system. Think we have enough holmium ore? And goodbye, holmium ore. Prioritize left. There we go. We are going to be noticing we're getting through a lot more stuff here that isn't necessary. Having all of our red circuits and stuff. Build a big enough base to build a different base. I thought about doing that instead of just tearing this entire base down and having to rebuild the entire thing. Instead of like going down here and building the next base down here and using the material that this base is creating to build the second base, and then like leapfrogging that instead of tearing the entire base down and starting over from scratch. But that just seems like it would be such a good idea. And I'm afraid that if I start having good ideas, I'll start being expected to have good ideas all the time instead of just doing lazy ideas. And could you imagine that being the requirement? That you guys are actually sitting here like, oh, he's going to come up with some good ideas today. Not, well, here we go watching him do another round of him just being too lazy to actually come up with a good plan. Running into that point of the base where I'm going to start growing it out, like, as I need things. So this needs to make this, which is batteries, green circuits, holmium plates, superconductors, and electrolyte. Now, electrolyte is made from holmium solution, heavy oil, and stone. No, those holmium plates. That's not holmium solution. Ah, that must be the that must be a cryogenics recipe eventually. Holmium solution. There. Melt ice. Request. Request. Roll speed. Alright. Next, another requester box here. Send the stone we need. And then here to get the heavy oil we're going to need. That's heavy oil, correct? Yes. color there seems slightly off for some reason. There we go. And now, quester chest. That. Just gonna get our homium plates and our all of the other stuff. Oh. I did not take into the effects that I had not improved this system yet. Oops, wrong one. And make it faster. Where's my calculations? Don't worry, it's just my starter base. But yeah, that'll probably be what we do, is we probably will set up a, we will probably just continue building with this base eventually, and build the second base somewhere nearby. I probably will not actually be, tearing this base apart. There we go. 48 per second, this is producing 25, this is producing 25. So now we are now at the point of creating more holmium solution than it is, than it's devouring. We get about 4 per second there, and this is requesting 30 per second. So no, it will never actually keep up. Luckily, we'll get enough electromagnetic plants eventually, which we're probably just going to cut them off now so that we can start getting what we need for this. Which the next one is what we need, these superconductors. So for our superconductor setup, we want superconductors, which wants light oil, holmium plates, plastics, and copper. Really, the only thing we need to add is light oil. Which, again, thanks to void science, you can just get light oil from nothing. Where's the light oil at? There it is. Fly. There. Quest. Fly. You need to be heavy oil. Alright. Leave. Yes, that did electromagnetic science for us. Now, one of the other things we need to eventually do is the mech bot, which needs level 4 military and modular armor Mark II. So, where is level 4 military at? Level 4 military, modular armor Mark II, mech armor, which obviously not yet, because we haven't done the research. We actually haven't set up the thing to make us our electromagnetic science yet. You will make electromagnetic science, which is accumulators, electrolyte, holmium, and the superconductors. Now, you are making electrolyte, which hopefully we're getting more electrolyte than we need. Maybe. Requester. Vendor. We also need to put in the qualities. Actually, no, not the qualities. Because I don't want to have to worry about setting up excess design. The other thing I need to set up is go over here. Luckily, this one's an easy one because this is an old recipe. Apply. Bust. You will make accumulators. And then I need holmium solution, which we might as well set up another thing of holmium solution. Since I'm using these so much, we might as well build them as a pop it down blueprint. Research. Over to our labs. Place it into there, and now we have our research. Nice to do quality assurance next, but I think quality module level 3 is going to be too expensive for a little bit. 1 second. My cat is eating something. I need to figure out what. Alright, I'm back. The cat has been dealt with. Well, at least for now. She's probably going to find something else to chew on in a few seconds. But hopefully that won't matter as much as the last thing did. Alright, the next thing I'd like to set up is actually going to be over here. We should have set this up originally. Is I would like to get agricultural science set up. That music came in a little aggressive. So it needs yucco mash and jelly. So I need to be doing jelly nuts as well. Jelly nut processing as well. There. And there. Buster. Plier. You will make jelly nut. You will turn jelly nut into jelly. We'll also request you also need to be requesting nutrients. Except to trash the unrequested. And then I need a requester chest here. Request nutrients back to the biolab to make the agricultural science. So what we will do is we'll do supply. That to that, that to that. This will do everything except pentapod eggs. And then this will only do pentapod eggs. Then what we'll do is we'll keep a very tight amount. Although it's going to request pentapod eggs over to the destruction station, so I'm just going to remove that so that I can't. I would like lasers. There we go. Where is their science? Then what we can do is we can go ahead and say this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, you're not requesting nutrients anymore. Yep. Fine. There we go. I wonder if you can stack you can stack pentapod eggs. Where's pentapod eggs? Pentapod eggs. Less than one. Now technically it's still going to be a problem because it's still going to ask enough. It's still going to ask for it, but I have a feeling that if a pentapod hatches over here, we're going to be fine. Now luckily it eats through the pentapod eggs pretty quickly. So I shouldn't have to worry about pentapod eggs hatching until, well, biochambers become a problem. Which what I might want to eventually do is set it up to where instead of them being pulled by, from the system, instead have it be that it's being pulled like this. So now they can be put into here directly. And then this one can basically say, actually no. What it will say is it will say this. Where is biochambers? If I have less than 600 biochambers, don't bother making more. So now it won't pull the pentapod egg from there, it'll only pull it and put it into here. Now this spoils into spoilage, so we can leave this system running and making these constantly, and that worst case scenario will just spoil and turn into a spoilage pack, which is fine. because the system is always going to be taking our spoilage in our system and turning it back into nutrients. Oh wow, 2 hours went by fast today, but we made a lot of progress. We now have electromagnetic science, metallurgic science, and agricultural science all set up. We have our systems all feeding back to our plants, which eventually will be getting up to quality modules, which I actually shouldn't have done quality first. We should do our captivity first, so that we can captivitize biters, which isn't what we're actually looking for getting. We actually want to get that, so that then we can do biter egg handling by getting biters. Maybe do fish breeding eventually. I don't know if fish is a void option, but I think it would be. And then eventually, if I can figure out where it is, we can eventually get biolabs, which have a huge increase towards our science projects, which we'll be using that to do our science for the foreseeable future. We will be upping that. We also have the overgrowth soil, which soil for placeable anywhere in the green biome, anywhere in the red biome. I don't know if we can place. I want to find out eventually if we can place this soil on top of on top of the land in here, so that we can grow the stuff instead of using our void tech the whole time. Mostly so that it can be slightly easier on us. If I go ahead and grab the Yumiko seeds, and grab the Gelinut seeds, now I can make their soil as soon as I have nutrients. I may eventually set this up as an auto system if I can do this, but I would like to know if I can do this prior to setting it up. Alright, so now give me So the overgrowth stuff works in the ocean, but this stuff will not work here. Okay. Because I was very confused, because when I hover over this, that looks like void ocean, and that looks like landfill. So it looks like I should be able to place this on landfill. So that was kind of the reason why I was thinking I might be able to. Now, I saw the overgrowth. Which needs the artificial Yumiko soil and the artificial Gelinut soil. Oh, you're gonna add it to the mod? I would appreciate it, because being able to set up a farming agricultural area on Navis could help with the settings. Because yes, it is nice to get everything from the void, but it's nice to have. It would be nice to have some void setups to have it set up. You could actually make it be that you have a machine that you place it down and it transforms the soil around it into either Yumiko or Gelinut biome. Instead of it being something you place down, it could be something that transforms the land around it. I don't know if that's possible with Factorio. I'm just thinking of something from World, which does that. It's the same idea I came up with being able to make biter nest, or being able to make the nest of the enemies. But we are getting close to the end of today's episode. We now have the ability to start working towards captivity, going towards the biolabs to get the upgraded biosections. 3 entities are being damaged on Navis, 2 of my laser platforms, and 1 of my biorefineries. I'm guessing that some pentapod eggs just hatched. Or what it probably was is we got that dangerous pentapod egg and it hatched before it could be thrown into the void ocean. Because I'm guessing it was probably thrown in right here. Oh no. That's the problem. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's really fun. Mako mash. Probably the seed problem? Nope. Ah, that's the problem. Okay, so the Yumiko seeds are becoming the issue here. So what we'll do is we'll set up another system over here. Which, actually, I think I can do this with biolabs. And if I can do this with biolabs, I'm going to do it with biolabs. I cannot. So instead what we will do is we will set down ease, which will make this slightly easier for us. You will make artificial Yumiko, and you will make artificial jelly net. Luckily, it doesn't crash the game like it did sometimes when I was doing some other testing with this. There we go. Now that should use up the seeds, and we should get plenty of the gelanet and other stuff. Eesh. Not do gelanet. There we go. Now it's working. That takes care of the 3 sciences, though. Gleba's a little bit of a pain to deal with, but it's going to be. I'll eventually set up a system with Gleba that will be able to turn on and off so that Gleba won't be constantly causing us problems. But now we have all the sciences, we have all of the items, we just need to get Aquilo next. But that's going to be farther down the line since we have to research Aquilo still. Which is fine. Advanced asteroid processing, and our rocket turrets, along with carbon fiber and a couple of other things we still need to work on, which is fine. But once we get Aquilo and we get Aquilo science, we'll be able to get legendary quality science and then start working towards a legendary quality base. But we'll be doing that alongside of building it up. Also getting the cryogenics plants, which will replace our chemical plants, will be nice. Getting our overgrowth seeds eventually, our bio labs, and so on and so forth. Did you design a way to set up to get fish with void sex? I keep trying to figure out how best to say your name. Let's see, how do I open up the Factorio library thing? I know how I can do it in some ways. If I go into and go to here and then click this, we can open it like this. Is there a way to get fish in? Fish. You can melt fish down. Void fish, I think it's a random outcome, but I don't think there's an actual recipe. Should there be one? Well, you have fish breeding as an option to eventually get nutrients. So, you'd be able to breed the fish. It'd be another option to get nutrients for people who want to make another way of getting nutrients. Fish recycling? And I guess it's not a huge deal. I mean, the Spidertron requires a fish. And with fish spoiling, I guess as long as there's a byproduct for fish. I can't remember what the byproduct for fish is, though. Let's see. Let's throw down a a crafter for this to figure this out for this last bit. Nope. No fish. Here fish, there fish. Red fish, blue fish, green fish. I think you're right. I think it is a byproduct, but I can't remember what it's a byproduct of. Right. It has a 4% chance of producing a raw fish. Actually, most of this stuff is useful now. I'm tempted to just throw that down. I need to find a video on YouTube eventually that teaches me where I can basically say, I think there's a way to eventually do it, that I can go into here, and then using a circuit network, I can basically tell this to request an item if there is more than a certain amount of it in the system. So like I could say, I don't want more than 1,000 of anything in the system, and anything that has over 1,000 will automatically get requested there, and so I can void it out eventually. But I don't remember how to set that up. I wish I did, because it would be useful for filtering out sushi belts and stuff like that as well. Oh, that just gave me another idea of a horrible Factorio base to see. A sushi spaghetti base, where not only is the entirety of the base's design spaghetti, but it also is sushi. Sushi spaghetti, yum. And I think you're one of the few people here, well, me as well, who would think that would be possibly good. I can't imagine rice and spaghetti together. It just seems like an odd decision. I'm not saying it's a bad decision, I'm just saying it's an odd one. That is a lot of quality items that I need to figure out what to do with eventually. Eventually, I need to accept the fact that I need to stop using bot networks for everything. I need to start belting everything. I need to start belting more stuff. That or train network. We might need to build a train network eventually. That's a lot of turbo belts, though. But, as I keep saying, we are at the end of today's stream. I need to stop because I need to go shopping, I need to get something to drink, and I have a couple other things I want to take care of today. But I hope you all have enjoyed. I hope you all enjoyed our little step through Gleba's territory, going through Fulgora's territory, and finishing up our Vulcanist walkthrough. So that now we are making the science and buildings from all 3 planets. In our next episode, we're going to continue pushing our way towards biolabs, and we're going to continue working on getting the mech armor, as the mech armor is the next thing I really want in our design. There's a health upgrader? I didn't even know that. Huh. Eventually I might start using this to where we use the Voidcraft hypercrafting. We might set some stuff up for that eventually. Spider eggs. Fish. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. But yeah, we'll be able to get bioscience pretty quickly soon. Did I also set the science lab to basically say trash whatever is not needed? Because I need to do that. Because if I don't, it's going to get spoilage in here and become a problem. Red doesn't need to be there, green doesn't need to be there, blue doesn't need to be there, and purple doesn't need to be there. You were supposed to be purple. Not that it matters because I just took purple out. I guess I should put purple down. Hey! There's our research for spider eggs. Which means before we go, I can go ahead and set up a system. Not mean to click that. Let's get some biters in this area because that's going to be helpful. Spider eggs. Spider egg. Spider egg. Oh, I forgot that if you do the Corliss recipe, it won't give you a chance for spawning annoying biters. Oh, there they go. Off to be recycled. Or burnt away. Apparently they can be burnt. Capture bot rocket. And then now, the biolab. I may, off camera, come in here and just let this run the biolab experiment so we have that finished up for next time. Or we might just sit here and watch it finish. The stream is over. I promise that I will not do anything more than just to finish the biolab experiment. So you won't miss anything if you leave now. I actually have not gotten to use the biolabs at all. So far, I have not seen them. I have not messed with them. I have no idea what they are. So I am actually quite excited to see these. Do not need this many um, electronic engines. I need to go through and eventually clear out my inventory. First thing we're going to do after this, though, after we get finished with getting everything set up and getting our researches, is we are going to work on turbo belts, getting a more finite design of turbo belt. Alright. I will finish this up off camera. And I will see you guys all in the next stream. Have a nice time, and see y'all all next time.